2 years ago and chose this area because it's a great proximity to the city. We have trams, great nightlife and food down there, a tram that way as well, so great public transportation. We weren't tied to a car, and also Melbourne's a great city to ride your bike in. So, you know, we made sure to build a bike shed on the side of the house, which wasn't there before. This house is around circa 1900 when it was built. We kind of started off doing some small things and got pretty involved and ended up ripping out nearly the interior floors, re-stumping it, stumping the foundation, they call stumps over here in Australia. We ripped down the back 2 rooms and put up a new 2 rooms and an upstairs in the back. The idea of passive solar heating and cooling is that you bring your living rooms to here in the southern hemisphere, to the northern exposure where your sun is low during the wintertime, so it can penetrate inside and naturally heat your house. But you would have proper sized overhangs to block the sun during the summer. So as you can see up top, we've put a little pergola with slanted slats to allow the sun to come in during the wintertime when it's lower, but not during the summertime when it's hot. Now the whole point of this is to really bring the living to the back of the house and open the back of the house where the sun is during the summertime to heat it. And also to just frankly make you happier, because I feel that light and sun make me happy. So I made some big open living space in the back to enjoy the sun as well as to naturally heat our house. We decided to go with a concrete slab, which will facilitate the passive heating during the winter time, because the sun will be low in the sky, radiate in, heat it up during the day, and re-emit that heat at night, keeping the house a very temperate. As the hot air comes in during the summertime, it cools, hitting the slab, pushing the hot air up our stairs and our open treads, and then pushing out our high windows. They're working as passive cooling. This overhang, you mathematically figure out where the sun is and how much the overhang is and what your glazing is to what height, and you should be able to figure out so that you block at least 95% of the sun during the summertime when it's nice and hot out and you don't want that to be a hot slab, and during the wintertime it is able to heat the slab and re-emit itself later at night, once again keeping the house temperate. For me, I see sustainability as a whole style of living. We just decided we wanted a nice big open light place. And I always wanted from the front door to be able to see down out in the back of my house so it felt nice and open and I could feel and not feel cramped and feel, as much as it's a small place, it was very large and more than ever I could dream of. And I wanted to make sure light was very important. So if you see there's light coming in several places here, one from these front windows, but also we put a skylight in this front bathroom so it comes in through the hall. Even when you close the door, there's still some light coming in. We even used old recycled doors that we bought at a recycled material place down the street. So we took that, restripped them. You know, you even have a little crack there, but we like the character and try to choose recycled wood. This top is recycled. This is just a veneer wood because to build the whole thing out of solid wood would be, once again, a little too expensive. So there's some corners you had to cut or watch costs. The temperature in Melbourne fluctuates a little bit from day to night, so you want to make sure you have good insulation, and it can get pretty hot during the summer times and pretty cold during the winter times. And in Australia as a whole, it's not ubiquitous to use double glazing, so even that skylight cost me about $800, but I think it's very important because we won't have as much heat coming into that place. All the new windows we put in were double glazed with argon gas between. The flooring we chose was Tasmanian oak, which is the plantation grown floor. We were thinking of going bamboo. We're from the States originally, but here we're a little closer to Asia where most bamboo is grown, but it still comes a long way to get here to Australia. So it builds into the embodied energy, even though they're a very renewable resource. So I wanted to try to keep materials as local as possible. This is Tasmanian oak, which is very local to Melbourne, just a ferry ride across the sea here. Here you can see we're starting to use some recycled woods that we've gotten from the area or from Australia. This is Jarrah. And on our steps and for our seats is Sydney blue gum, which is also recycled. Countertops, we wanted something nice and solid and heat-proof, stain-proof, and last a lifetime. This countertop is Caesar stone. We chose Caesar stone because it's a very durable product. It's actually reconstituted stone. I was worried about the glues that they use to put it back together. From what I've been told, it's considered low VOC. I'll point out the light in this bathroom. I really wanted to bring the light in. I feel a lighthouse is very warm and livable. I wanted plantation wood for all the windows throughout the house. But here we chose a PVC. It's very good for water. It's a UPVC. Supposedly this one's made without the chemicals used in most PVCs. All the toilets, laundry, hot water, and the outside taps are plumbed from a rainwater tank. All the water is pushed into the gutters, brought into our downpipes, which then disappear into the wall here. Well, that's because it runs down the wall and then into underneath the floor, into a bladder, which is right underneath these slats, literally from this point all the way to that point and all the way across. And it's just like a big water bed, essentially, big, thick plastic bladder, and it's a rain harvest our roof. It's a 1,000-liter bladder, and then when it's full and needs to push any water out, it comes out of that overflow into our laneway, which is where our water went before, the road, and goes out to the ocean. So now we're able to use this water that was just put into the ocean before. So basically we're standing on water that supplies our toilets, our laundry, and outside taps, as well as our hot water tap. Here's our hot water tank. It's just a tank, it's just a storage tank. The water circulates through here up to our 3 solar vacuum tube panels on the roof. We chose vacuum tubes because they're the most effective solar hot water, because the water's in the tubes, and then there's reflectors around the outside, so it's able to really absorb the sun during the majority of the day. Comes back down here nice and hot. If it's not quite hot enough in this tank, which during the summertime, like a day like this, would be plenty hot, before it runs into the house, runs over to this, which is an instantaneous gas booster. These are our 2 filters for our rainwater. We don't really need to filter too much because all it is running our toilets, our outside water, and our laundry. The heat from the hot water is able to kill off any extra bacteria and clean it enough for the house itself. Here in the back, we've salvaged our tree, which was quite an achievement because this brick wall actually has pretty heavy-duty foundation on it, so we had to cut it off, some of the roots, but it's managed to stay alive. And then we've planted some pretty hardy native plants. The grass we chose because the rainwater can soak into the ground and recharge our natural aquifers rather than being hardscape and running off into drains and streets and off to the oceans. As you can see, we've left it kind of long at the moment because it's summertime and we don't want to water it. We haven't watered it in about 2 weeks now and it still looks very green. And the longer it is, the less water it needs. It's a little bit more hardy. Also, this is a pretty hardy grass. It doesn't need much water, and the water that we do use is from our rainwater bladder.